It's not your imagination, the globalist 1% elite really does hate you. Yesterday I mentioned how the Davos elite is in a panic that populism is winning. Most spectacularly with Donald Trump's historic wins in Iowa and New Hampshire, in response to which the globalists are toying with a Pentagon-led constitutional coup. Of course, it's not just America. We've seen dramatic populist wins rolling in across the West, from Holland to Argentina, as the inevitable election calendar finally lets the sovereign people tell the elite what they think about them. Indeed, going by polling, even France and Germany could be next, to the point that major elements of Germany's globalist uniparty is pushing to literally ban the second biggest party in the country, something Germany has not done since the 1930s. Ex-British Prime Minister Boris Johnson summed it up in a recent speech with, quote, "The global wokerati are trembling violently, collapsing into a, quote, sheer gibbering funk." Heady stuff, but it raises the question why exactly voters are so violently rejecting the elites, whose countries they hijack. Thankfully, a recent poll from the Committee to Unleash Prosperity lays it out in raw numbers. They commissioned a poll with the respected Rasmussen organization asking only America's 1%, so defined as people with a postgraduate degree and an income over $150,000. The results will not surprise you, but they were pretty ugly. For starters, America's elite overwhelmingly believe the people have too much freedom. 70% of those expressing an opinion. By the way, non-elite voters overwhelmingly believe the opposite. 80% believe we have too little freedom. Next, the elite believes that teachers, not parents, should be deciding what children are taught, again by 70%. They overwhelmingly trust the government to do the right thing. Almost 80% think we should, quote, strictly ration gas, meat, and electricity for so-called climate change. That rises to 90% among Ivy League graduates, who are the most indoctrinated. Presumably, they assume their incomes or connections will buy their way out. It'll just be us, little people, eating the bugs. 70% want an immediate ban on gas stoves. 81% want gas-powered vehicles outlawed, starting with, of course, SUVs and pickups. Majorities want to ban air conditioning, non-essential air travel. That would mean effectively banning family vacations. Of course, going by current restrictions, these would not apply to private jets or luxury compounds. After all, when you can walk from your bed to your resort-style pool, there is no carbon footprint to track. Finally, and maybe this will help some of our confused media, nearly 90% of these 1%ers approve of Joe Biden. Perhaps because they overwhelmingly report their finances are going great by a 4-to-1 margin. In case the cocktail party crowd wonders why regular Americans are not feeling the Biden magic. As the poll's authors sum up, people who run America, or at least think they do, live in a bubble of their own construction. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. This poll was America, but I imagine the gap is similar across the West, including Europe, Argentina. 2024, by sheer coincidence, will have the most elections we've seen in decades. Literally 75% of the countries with free or partially free elections will take place this year. That's over 50 countries. I'd hazard that not in a single country will voters agree with the globalist 1%. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.